Have you ever left a high caliber concert completely amazed at how the drums sounded? I know I have. I could feel the kick drum, the snare was clear and punchy, and the toms sounded like heavenly thunder. Then I'd go back to my church, try to achieve the same result, and just end up frustrated. But I didn't give up. Over the years, I've learned tips and tricks to getting the drums sounding great, and in this video, I'm going to share them with you. This video is brought to you by Behringer X32 Mastery, the fastest way for church sound techs to master the X32. And with the team license, you can enroll unlimited team members now and in the future. Finally, everyone will be on the same page. Visit x32.church or click the link in the description to learn more. They may not sound as good as what you hear at concerts with million-dollar sound systems, but with the right technique and decent equipment, you can get awfully close. Now the first step is to change and tune your drum heads often. Great sound starts at the source. There's no microphone or EQ that can make worn out drum heads sound awesome. Of course, these things can definitely make them sound better, but it's much easier to get great sound by starting with great sound. I recommend changing drum heads every 3 months. If the budget doesn't allow for this, don't let it go longer than 6 months. If you're not someone who is skilled at tuning drums, I recommend finding someone in your community who gives drum lessons and have them change your heads. They will be able to get the initial tuning right on point, and that's going to save you a lot of frustration. Keep in mind, as time progresses, the drum heads will stretch out, so be prepared to make fine adjustments every couple of weeks to keep them sounding their best. Now next up, use great microphones and place them correctly. Although there are plenty of great microphones out there, I recommend the Audix DP7 drum microphone package. They're definitely not the least expensive, but they're not the most expensive either. I've used these microphones for years and have never been disappointed with the results. Now, here are some tips for placing your microphones correctly. For snare and toms, microphones should be on the edge of the drum head, about an inch from the head and pointing towards the center of the head. The kick mic will take some experimenting. You can put the microphone inside the kick to get more of the click sound when the batter hits the head, or you can put it right outside the porthole to get a rounder and deeper sound. So it all depends what you're going for. Personally, I put the mic right inside the porthole for a good balance of click and energy. Overhead microphones should be equal distance from the floor. I found a good placement to be around 2 feet above your crash cymbals. Start by pointing them straight down, and if you get a weird sound from your cymbals, try angling them parallel with the crash cymbals. Now that you have great sounding drums at the source and the right microphones, it's time to start dialing in the mixer. The most important mixing tip I can give you is to set your gain correctly. If you don't, everything else will struggle down the line. If you're unsure how to set gain, we have a video that'll teach you how. I'll include a link in the description. Now after gain is set, use compression, gating, and EQ to clean up the drum mix. Does your snare or floor tom ring out too long? Gating can fix that. Is there too much loudness variation between the loud and soft hits? Compression can fix that. Does your snare drum sound a bit boxy? EQ can fix that. We put together a cheat sheet with gating, compression, and EQ tips for drums. Click the link in the description to access this free download. The last step is to add reverb to give drums depth and space. Most reverb processors have a setting for drums. For example, the Behringer X32 has a preset called Drum Treat, which is what I'm currently using. If a drum room preset is not available, a small to medium bright room would be a good choice. Once you've chosen an appropriate reverb, you'll want to add it to your snare and overhead microphones, and possibly even your toms as well if you feel like they need a little bit more depth. The kick drum should remain dry unless you're using reverb for some special effect. When it comes to how much reverb to add, I recommend turning it up until you can hear it and then dialing it back to where it blends in with the mix. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, give me a thumbs up to let me know. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the little bell so that we can let you know when a new video comes out. I'll see you next time.